Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. Mile High Beach here. I'm Alicia.
I'm Pleshette.
And this is Charlie. Hey, Charlie. He's a little
He's a little hot.
yeah,
and
he's
a little tired.
Yeah,
it's a little warm
hot.
outside.
He's a senior citizen too, so it's a little hard for him on days when it's warm.
He has a birthday coming up.
He does have a birthday
He'll
coming
be
up.
12 next month.
12 years old next month. But I'll tell you, he's still pretty freaking sprightly.
He is.
Running around like he's a puppy sometimes.
He is.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to talk about in this video.
Yeah. Today's video is about traveling, but not just traveling, but being a full-time RVer, and having your pet, having your family member, your fur family member, with you. And so we just had a couple things that we learned along the way, and that we just really wanted to share because it was a learning experience for all of us.
He's already over the video.
Yeah, he's over it already.
So the first thing we wanted to really talk about is really the transition.
Yeah.
I mean, when we first decided we were going to do this and started actually preparing to sell our house and waiting for the rig and all that kind of stuff, and each time we had to kind of make a move, he had to move with us, and so that disrupted what he was used to, and he even was physically sick a couple of times just because of the emotion of the transition. So we had to really be careful and thoughtful about that.
And this is a really good point, because here's the thing, there's the change, and then there's how you feel about the change, right? And there's an aspect of that for humans just like it is for pets. And so every time we made a move, when we moved from the house into the or we stayed at my mom's, and then we moved from my mom's, and then we stayed at the Airbnb. He got sick every transition. I mean, like violently sick every transition. So not taking that lightly and really thinking about what kind of extra care, can you give all of yourselves, right? Us and our Pokey.
So that was something that we really want folks to be mindful of. Just think about how not only will you transition, but how will your fur baby transition? How do your pets transition with you? The next thing I think is booking. Right?
So when we decided on, so we're not a small RV, and we're still working. So we don't, we stay places for about a month, maybe 6 weeks, and so we plan well on in advance, and put a schedule together. And we'll talk about that. That actually will be a topic of one of our videos, kind of how we plan and that kind of thing. But every time you call the RV site, or the property that you're going to stay at, there's always questions about the pets, right? So what kind of pet do you have? How many pets do you have, and what kind of pet do you have? Now, Charlie is a miniature Schnauzer, and so this is not a breed that is of a concern, but if you...
And he only weighs about 20 pounds.
Yeah, and he weighs about 20 pounds, and we just have one dog. And so that's just something to know. So like when you're booking your campground, just know that you'll be asked about your pet, and depending on the campground, you might even have to sign a waiver, about the care of your pet,
that you won't tear it, that you'll always have it leashed,
that
you won't tear up the property, that you won't leave them unattended.
I
mean, there's just all the campgrounds are a little different.
They're all a little different, and there could be some things to consider. Now, the one we're in right now is very lovely. Great for walking Charlie. 2 big pet areas where he can run around. He doesn't tend to run around. Like, as soon as you take him off the leash, he's like pinned to your leg. But
he's always been like that.
Yes, that's just who
never
he
been
is.
his thing.
He's more a people dog. So some of the areas that you go to might have nice pet accommodations and stuff. What's next?
So maybe the next thing is Vetcare.
So we have, our vet is at our home base in San Diego. The records are there. Charlie's fully vaccinated, and we have a copy of his records just in a PDF.
Just keep them with you.
Gotta have them with you.
Because no matter where we've gone, whether it's the campground that might want to see him, sometimes we've taken him out and to get him groomed. We use some of the big chains, PetSmart, Petco, whoever's available. They all want to see the records. They want to make sure that his records are up to date. So whether it's, like I said, whether we're getting him groomed or taking him to a vet or whatever, we have to make sure we have a copy of his records with us. So it's an important thing to make sure you have too, is just make sure you have up-to-date records.
Yeah. Have them up to date and have them accessible and available, because if you just have them, on a PDF on your phone or somewhere you can get to it easily, that's what we've done.
Yeah.
We just keep it like that, so that way we can just send it to whoever we need to send it to.
Because email it if we need to, or just pull it up on the phone, and all they want to do is see it.
Yeah. So that works great.
Yeah. So maybe we'll talk about grooming.
Yeah. So grooming has been hilarious. So he is a miniature Schnauzer, so he's got a bit of a cut that goes with this breed. And as she said, we've done PetSmarts or whatever the heck. We've done those, and that works okay. And then, before we moved out of our house, we actually attempted to groom him. This was during COVID. That was a problem. It was a problem. We didn't do it very well.
Didn't do a very good job.
No.
We didn't know.
No, we did.
We tried.
Goodness, bless him.
Oh
dear. What's going on? Oh dear. Are you sneezing?
He's like, I'm sneezing.
Yeah. So that didn't work out so well. So we tried to watch some videos and tried to learn how to cut him, and that it didn't work out too well.
No, it just didn't work out. So yeah, we've had to, so the nice thing is, some of the larger chains, PetSmart, Petco, those folks that, they're national, so they're all over the place. But we did run into somebody in our most recent place that actually had miniature Schnauzers, and they showed us how to cut him.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. We've only cut him once with their help.
Yeah.
And then, ironically, we've run into somebody else that here at our new campground who also had miniature Schnauzers, and they want to cut him. So we'll get another lesson.
Yeah.
So that'll be really nice. It'll help. It'll help us to be able to keep him groomed.
Yeah.
Not all dogs require grooming. Charlie, I guess, doesn't require grooming, but certainly in the hot summer months, keeping his coat short will help him.
Yeah.
And we like to keep him kind of, in kind of a standard Schnauzer cut. So it'll be a big help to be able to learn how to do that.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the people that that we have met, they have just been the nicest people. I mean, and what has happened is they had miniature Schnauzers, and their dogs have gone over the doggy rainbow. Or it is the doggy rainbow,
Rainbow.
I forget. Yeah, and so and so they see Charlie, and they're like, "Oh, can I come pet your dog?" And and I can totally appreciate that, because after your little buddy is not here anymore, I can imagine seeing other people's Schnauzers really pulls on your heartstrings.
Yeah.
So we just really have loved meeting these just amazing folks that have helped us, learn how to groom him and really keep him looking good.
Keep him looking good.
Yeah.
So I guess the next thing is kind of daycare and leaving him here when you can't take him, and I guess we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Typically, we have taken him with us. We've been fortunate. We're just about everywhere we've gone. When we're out sightseeing or exploring an area, we can pretty much take him.
Yeah.
So it's been great to be able to bring him along. But there are occasions where, place is just not dog friendly or pet friendly. So, we have a couple options.
Yeah.
One of them is leave him here.
Yeah.
And
we have a portable kennel for that, so it just folds up and collapses, and then we just pop it up and then put his pillows and his little friends down in there,
water dish in
and
there,
a water dish in there, and then we turn all the ACs on, and then we also have a waggle which kind of monitors the rig,
it's a pet
and
monitor system.
Pet monitor system, yeah. And what we've found, and this is just a discovery, is that there are some national parks where you can take your dogs in. Most you cannot, but state parks, so far, from what we found, have been pretty open. You can bring your pets into state parks, so that's nice. And the state parks are lovely.
Yeah. So that's been a nice kind of surprise, because we weren't sure, or we didn't know that. So that's been nice to be able to bring him. But leaving him here, if it's summertime, of course we do have to leave the ACs on. If it's not so hot, we just want to make sure he stays comfortable inside. So we make sure we leave ACs on, and we don't leave him very long.
No.
We might leave him for a few hours, but we just don't really feel comfortable leaving him here too long, because anything could go wrong.
Yeah.
You could have a power source issue at the RV park, and we just don't want to take that chance. And that's why we have the waggle. It's the one that we purchased, but there's several brands out there.
Yeah.
And that way, if we get a notification or alert that we have lost the power, we can at least come home and make sure we can get him taken care of. But typically, yeah, we're able to bring them with us.
Yeah.
So I guess the other option too would be to look at local boarding.
Yeah.
And we've did that a little bit. Some day play when we were in Utah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that worked out okay.
Yeah.
You know, we were able to leave him there for several hours, and you know, we didn't have to board him overnight, but we would just drop him off in the morning and get back and pick him up in the afternoon, and he was able to run around and play with other dogs. And you know, so we try to, when we get to an area, try to see if we can find places that are you know, boarding facilities, and call them up, talk to them. I mean, when we went to the place in Utah, we went down and met the people, checked out the facility. You know, we want to make sure we know a little bit about where we're going to be leaving, you know, Charlie before we actually drop him off. So so that worked out pretty well. So we usually try to look for places to you know, that do offer some boarding in the area.
Yeah.
I think the only other thing, we talked a little bit about Vetcare. You know, we try to also check the area for vet, to try to find a local vet.
Yeah.
Should we need one.
Oh, for sure. And we've had to use the VCA.
Yeah, we had to use VCA.
So it's good to know where that is.
So yeah, he had a 2-night stay when we were staying in the Palm Desert area in California. Ingested some gravel or something, and yeah, so you know, thankfully that turned out to be a positive story, and we were able to get him back after a couple days. But you know, again, it was good to have in that case it was a local VCA, but you know, we try to research who in the neighborhood or in the area will we have as options for vet care.
Yeah. And I think the last thing is kind of his space in the RV. You know, let's face it, we're all living in a small space. When you're a full-time RVer, even if you're in something the size that we have, which is a 44-foot toy hauler, you know, everybody kind of needs their space. And so he's got his living space, you know, where he has his little bed down in the living room area. That's like his little comfy area. And then during the week, he likes to attend her meetings. So we put him up on the couch and he can attend the meetings. And then he has his little toys down there. And then he has his bed area in our, so we have a $3.99 Grand Design. We'll do a tour on that, but you'll get a chance to see his little sleeping space.
Yeah. So he has some space that really is designated for him, and then you know, and he really does kind of lay wherever he wants. But
he really does. We'll put a couple of pictures in here. How, you know, he's got the couch and he's got his blanket, and then he lays right in the middle of the floor.
Right.
It's
so
like, are you kidding?
He's like, well, I'll lay wherever
There's
I want.
There's no place to walk.
But yeah, I think that's what we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
It's just we love having Charlie with us, and it's been, you know, he even has his own bed in the car.
Yeah.
You know, in our tow vehicle, we have a bed in the back seat for him to, you know, have his own space in the truck and not feel secure and safe.
Yeah.
So he's really, you know, got all of, I think, hopefully the comforts of what we had before, and I think that covers everything.
That covers it. Yeah. So, you know, listen, traveling with your pet, and if you're new to having pets and then you're traveling in your RV, that's something. So hopefully there was a tip or something that you could take from this video that could help you. We'll put some links below to some of the things that we've used to really help him with his either living space or his comfort or whatever. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. You can subscribe. We invite you to join us. Share. What else do you do? Oh, hit the notify button.
The notify button, so you know when the next one shows
so you
up.
know when the next one's coming out, because who knows when we're going to do it.
Because we don't really have a regular schedule.
So until next time, we just invite you to live your great story.